Things I did not expect to see was a staircase. This was a surprise. All right, getting interesting.
Since we here deal with the implements of battle and war, especially those large imposing ones, we now have to begin to include the Cold War. And given that it ended and then began again, the original Cold War is now for the history books. And fortunately, I got to meet some of the people who operated those underground command bunkers in the East, and they will later share how they operated while planning to convert us all into glass.
So there will be a commander standing over there.
On tutaj odbierał różne informacje w zależności od którego telefonu.
As we now all know, wars involve the construction of forts and bunkers, and the Cold War is certainly no exception. At this point, Albania probably has more Cold War bunkers than population. And all over the East and West, bunkers, underground command centers, and weapon shelters were constructed. The Cold War began before the Second World War was even over. The dividing lines were twofold, one practically dividing Europe down the middle of Germany, with the countries liberated by the Red Army to the east and those to the west occupied by the Western Allies. Those under Russian control, although given some degree of autonomy, were dictated by Moscow and under the rule of communism. It was the ideological differences that made up the rest. Although it was clearly known by Western leaders that Stalin had no intentions of allowing free elections in what he had occupied. The Allies appeased him with relatively little choice other than starting World War III on May 11, 1945, something nobody seemed keen on, except Patton. And when the Russians blockaded West Berlin in 47 to 49 and NATO was created, the Cold War became official for all to see. In the West, the Allies occupied former German bases, using some wartime underground complexes, and the Russians did the same in the East. But given that new weapons had been developed during the war, new ways had to be adapted to safeguard the strikes from the other side. The Warsaw Pact was not officially formed until 1955, and Stalin's death initially did see some slight loosening of tensions, and German World War II prisoners were finally released home. But it was short-lived. Soon after, in 1958 and onwards, both the US and Soviet Union began fielding intercontinental ballistic nuclear missiles. That raised tensions again. What a surprise. The Cuban Missile Crisis further added to this, of course. But for what we are about to visit, the most notable conflict was not between East and West as such, it was the Six-Day War, where the Israelis attacked the Egyptian Air Force, leveling it on the first day of the war. Now this woke up all Cold War players to the realization that their on-ground assets were rather vulnerable on the ground, and a frenzied shelter construction for weapons, arms, planes, command posts began. Today we're going to visit one of the typical, although quite large, underground bunkers the Russians constructed in the former GDR, East Germany, not far from Berlin. It was, and is standard for all armies, to plan for hostilities by abandoning home bases and taking to the field, as it is obvious that any enemy's first strike will be on your known military facilities. So under the cover of Europe's forests, fast, simple bunkers, command centers, vehicle shelters were constructed. The Russians built them rather crudely if you compare them to the German World War II constructions, but they built a lot of them, just like the Polish also did the same, and again with multiple centers for each units of communication and weapons prioritized. This year I got to visit quite a lot of these in both countries, and also their nuclear storage to the civilian defense and missile shelters, as I will show you later. But let's start with what a Cold War Russian forest installation would look like from the ground. Let's basically take a walk in the woods.
We're out in the forest, way outside Berlin, and after World War II ended, the Russian army moved in, and they stayed for quite a many decades. And they started building their own military infrastructure if they could move into the existing German ones. And that's what we're looking for. We're looking for Russian underground nuclear shelters, very large ones, 4 of them, which is good because I have 3.5 coordinates. And here the road split, so now we'll see what I can find, especially since what I'm looking for is underground. We'll get to see what they did here and how that's different to what was. Choices: A, B, or back to the car with cookies. What strikes me as a little strange is that I don't see any of the usual military infrastructure. I don't see Russian or German built roads from Cold War, no GDR roads. Came through a small little village. The huge Maybach complexes in Sussen is not overly far from here. Everything here was military before the war, during the war, and remained so until after the Cold War. And Lord knows I still saw a bunch of German military colleagues riding around down here as I came in. So, you know, some things in history just remains the same. But I'm surprised I don't see anything. Of course, they were supposed to be well hidden and sheltered, but they're also supposed to be secret and protected. So as sooner or later, I would expect to have run into an outer ring of defenses or remnants of something. I was getting really worried because I saw nothing till here I see a vehicle shelter. At least what's left of it, dug into this hill. So now I'm starting to feel a little optimistic again. Now, clearly this protected mound here is man-made. Don't see any entrance yet. Remnants of trenches. Something over there looks like cement. Pretty sure I'm in the right place. Have a look in here. I see bricks. I see bricks. But these are not Russian bricks. This looks like the foundation of an old German house. Just amazing, there's nothing worth of interest. There's, well, I think there's nothing worth of infrastructure here to see. Here's another, looks like a shelter, but again, could also be the foundation of an old house. Same thing. Foundation of bricks. I mean, parallel rows of pillars. Could also be a shelter. And they're over there. I'm sensing this is the whole area. This is the infrastructure I was expecting to see, but here as well. These are just pillars that were held up, you know, a roof or just an easy up shelter. Same thing there, there. Okay, so where is the entrance to the bunker? There's more of this. Obviously, this would be the vehicle assembly point for rather large vehicles. From what I understood this was a deer. It's all right, buddy. Deer. Russian Air Force. What have we there? I'm expecting one of these cul-de-sacs. This is going to be an entrance. Here's bricks again. And thorny, pointy hell. So, a very large, one of this is a large shelter built up. So, alright, this is where we look for a hole in the ground. Yay! Must have been fairly large because there's a lot of these. So, there's more infrastructure needed to support all these vehicles with heavy equipment on them. I presume this is not just the Cold War forest rally point in case the war goes hot. They'll all roll out in the forest from the barracks. Alright, I was wrong. Here you have the cement pillars and the built-up brick walls. Remember, what we're looking for is actually underground. So, what's that? Hang on now. Hang on. Here is a staircase down. Now this could just be a shelter. But I guess I'm gonna have to go down there and find out. Providing this is a staircase. Okay. I'm expecting the deer to come pull me out if I need to be pulled out. Nope. Ow. What's this here? This is just a small. Alright. This is a small personnel shelter. It's noisy, full of mosquitoes, food cans, ventilation, rude, crude, and rudimentary. Very, very simple. Even the door is crooked. Seriously, the door is crooked. Alright. So, we'll brave the mosquitoes. There used to be steel doors here. Probably be worth more than the actual thickness of the wall. But this is what we're looking at down here. So down here were the first vehicle shelters off the little path, and more, lots more. Little plateau here. Almost get the feel of this being like a rallying point, an open clearing, but lots more of these vehicle shelters. And I guess the little bunker was a close protection for the big shelters that we have yet to find. But there's a lot of these shelters surrounding this area. Alright. Somewhere there's a hole in the ground. These are pretty... Never actually seen these reinforced like that. Probably be a wooden roof, or... Wouldn't be just for camouflage netting. That's what sticks in the forest is for. I mean, these shelters were of a significant size. Although I'm still saying they could have been wood structured house or something here, but given the bricks, where's that tree coming out of it? Speaking of infrastructure, ventilation, maybe, or water. But why is that tree in encased in a cement block. Haven't seen that since those round ones in the Riese project sites. So, is that a door? I think that might be a door. And it's another. I'm on top of it. And I know that because there's a staircase. Yay, okay, fine. But you can see why these things can be hard to find, because it's vertical to the ground. And the steel hatch here is just lying here. If it wasn't for that piece of metal protruding there, I wouldn't have seen this. Alright. Well, that looks like what I'm looking for. See if we can get... I don't see any mosquitoes around here. That's a big step. Why are the steps so damn big? Alright. Damn, these steps are big. That's kind of weird. Alright. Now, this we recognize. I'm not talking about mosquitoes, but... Alright. Well, that's pretty. Well, found it. Where do we start? And where do we make comparisons? Well, I want to continue all the way and see what we'll see. These are not very big. They are very standardized, I will say. Typical Russian Cold War underground shelters. So there ought to be ventilation equipment here, which is now missing. And there's probably got to be another emergency exit somewhere, which there usually is. But it's in pretty good shape. It's dry. It doesn't suck. That will probably be another exit. I just want to see if I can see daylight. Yeah, actually, I see something else. Damn, the steps are big here too. I see mosquitoes by the millions. So what's in here? There's nothing here. This is the closest fence. There's just mosquitoes. All right, and there's a staircase. And we're gonna go back down again. Out, away from the mosquitoes. And yes, that was the sound on me. Just kill the light for a minute. I killed the light to shake the mosquitoes in the box. All right. See, now they're gone. All right, this is where I came from. These are for bats. The European bat fetish continues. I thought I had a kink, but apparently all European governments now are hard-ons for bats. Hey, whatever brings your cookie, all right? As long as no women or children are harmed, I don't care. Damn, okay, it's getting bigger here. This is actually pretty damn big, but it's very low to the ground. So what is this now? Well, it was abandoned some 30 years ago. Doesn't make it 30 years old. This is 50, 60, 70 years old. When was the Russians started panicking and building? That was in the 70s, I think, after the Egyptian Air Force had been wiped out on the ground. They moved everything underground. And this is just another exit, I believe, just checking. I'm just checking. I don't see daylight. Well, it is Oh, look what I have over here. One of the filters. I do see daylight. Yeah, this is another entrance up there. One of the filters didn't make it that far, so I will just do a dramatic turn, go back inside. There's an amazing amount of entrances and exits of this place. It's very strange to me. But, I mean, this was never something with any kind of ground defense. This was a nuclear shelter for the Air Force. So, they can work in peace while being bombed. And no, that's not a vodka joke, but, well, you can insert one. Okay. Over here. Will you translate? Thank you. The doors are very small here. I'm imagining here would be one of the inner rooms for traditionally the further in you get, the higher ranking the officers get, the more secret the work gets. But this is for Air Force. I would imagine that there would be one room that's larger for a European overview, unless we're dealing with a small local defense here. I'm not an expert on the Russians at all. I would have said this would be a ventilation room, but, oh, there's a pipe in the wall right there. Yeah, that's where the filters would be. I saw one in a place I wasn't supposed to be. I'll show you that. I would imagine it's not cold down here at all. It's really not. Climate's actually this is what's traditional 10 degrees as it is in any underground structure facility. They didn't burrow down to build this. They excavated the dirt and the earth. Then they built these huts, like little reinforced Quonset huts, and then they filled them up with dirt on top. But really, it's only maybe 2 meters down. And I don't think the shell is very heavy, very reinforced. There's cables running through the walls. I don't even think this was cable hangers. I think they just ran through. Well, this is basically an oval tube, isn't it? Outs and out. So, lots of sections. Here's another thing I was thinking. I don't think there's any doors on this. There's no mounts for hinges. I mean, of course, there could have been a reset steel door tucked in there that scrappers had taken. But I don't see any imprint of the door. There must have been something, not just those plastic covers. Although that would make it very loud in these places, I would think. Because it is kind of a hollow space. Don't worry, I won't start singing. I won't do that to you. So, ventilation room for that department. Green thing is for bats. And then there's a ventilation seat here for that department. And here, I see screws, not those little things. These things, I see screws here, or bolts. Here was a door, and number 3. So there was a possibility of putting a door there. And I've been in these before where there's remnants of a raised floor. Here I don't see any. Yeah, there's one there. There's one over there. There could have been something sunk in here, although if this got much smaller, it would be impossible to get through. I can almost stand up straight in here. Alright, so I've seen some of these where the floors are actually raised on a wooden pillar. And here's the other. Here's just another out. Wow, there's a lot of, it's almost 6 exits. And then we'll go down a bit. There's a little space. And, I mean, these are pretty big. This is a pretty big complex underground, I will say. This does merit what I'm seeing outside. For parking and secure facilities. And let me see. What was that? All right. Lilia, translate. Lily is a friend of mine. It's not the Russian version of Siri. All right. That's just a room with an adjacent room. Why? I wasn't just in here, was I? No. And here we have the answer to the question. If you look long enough, you'll see the 2 door separators. There's the rubber plastic one. And then there is this. That will be sunk around the doors. I guess the scrappers couldn't bother to pull this one out after pulling it off. So here's the door frame. And you can see there are grooves in there. So it would have been hinged and shut. And they would have been plastered in here. That's another exit, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, that's been sealed up. And here's the door. Looks like a wooden door, doesn't look original, but looks like there's wood inside it. And here you see the screws coming through. That's just a simple hinged door. I can't have been original, but it looks original. This is wood. Think about that. This is sort of where you see these round panels and you have the plastic out enclosed matching here. And then I suppose that steel frame does not necessarily need to have been here. Could have been somewhere else. But these are for gas. If this is an outer room, it would have been something for, I would say, for cleansing, or if you were contaminated. There's no decontamination room, and there's no drainage in any of these. That also means there's no bathroom in any of these. Oh, and here's the door. This is actually the correct door, and the correct door sill. Oh, that's nice. Now we know. That's heavy, but not that heavy. And it's not really that thick, but it is inverted probably upwards, so it will catch a blast, and there'll probably be several of them. This is where we came from. So now we go this way. We'll see what's here. And I'm guessing this is a ventilation room again. Maybe this is sort of decontamination room, or before you enter into the main command center, because this is exactly what that's for ventilation equipment. And then we have this. Wooden doors. They did use wooden doors in here, I guess. I mean, cheap and easy, right? And again, we're looking at protection from an adjacent blast. And this is the way we went. All right. That's where we came from. And there's one outer door right there still in place. So there'll probably be one more. There's another one here. Here we have this rubber stuff. That will be pulled over and closed. Like a rubber cover, I think, like this. Oh, these were just, this is simple rubber. No seal, no nothing. Just close this. These will close together like that. That's interesting. Then you have the metal door here. And these enormous steps. Damn. So you have mosquitoes in the door here. So that's all it was. This, and then the two sets of that rubber enclosure there. Well, I mean, I'm serious. This is a serious damn step. Oh, they're not even remotely even, these steps. They're crooked in every direction and height too. Wow. This was just as if this was just thrown up. And then there'll probably be, that metal place would be closed over there so no one could actually see it. I'm continuing into the forest, and this is a very large vehicle shelter, if that's what that is. Unless you park two vehicles next to each other here. This is actually fun now. The further I come, the more I see of what this originally looked like. So this is how they packed the sides of the vehicle shelters. They sunk in these cement beams, poles, and then this tossed wood behind them. And then padded that with dirt, and that would do. Although this is long enough for an SS-20 on a truck. Just don't see, well, we are in Germany, even if we are on the old DDR or GDR, depending where you're watching from. There shouldn't have been nuclear weapons here, but we all know that everybody lies about those things, right? So, here's a smaller one, runs up to the road there, and somewhere next to me should be another command shelter. See if there's any more details in there than we've just seen. And then I come by this little thing that doesn't look like an entrance to one of these. It does look like an entrance to something. I see a white brick, classic Russian design. Haven't seen anything that looked like this before. But that's why I'm here, to see things I haven't seen before, so I can show them to you. Well, this is round. Light off, mosquitoes out. Alright, light back on. Well, that's all that was. There's just a little ventilation, communication. There could have been an antenna there, but this is all there is. And then this was a bit technological. Could have been an antenna hiding in there. There's no writing on the wall, probably because the mosquitoes ate it. Alright, did not know that was there. And here's more of these large shelters with the wood in place. I will say the German military during the Second World War had a bit of a better idea of how to build bomb-proof shelters. But labor and cost was to some degree not their main concern either. Of course, that helps. Alright, where's the hole I'm looking for? You see heavy steel cabling still lying out here in the forest. Well, I think the Muppet we're looking for is over here. And here's something far more interesting. there's actually a little building with a little entrance there. If this is an indication of the buildings that were here, that's amazing that that's still here. And there's a staircase, or part of a staircase, leading nowhere. More brick, more brick. I think the vehicle shelter would have been covered with something and people could walk through there, that little doorway, and then through in there into the building. Might be the command post. That we have to see. Let's go have a look. Could also just be a separator between two vehicle shelters, but well, what have we here? We have a damn house here. Well, that's interesting. And then we have a classic arch shelter there the Russians would have built. Well, the door's open. That would be rude not to go in, wouldn't it? The less said about the floor, the better. So I'm just gonna, we all know this floor is gonna crack more than it has, but you know, in the same vein as the ceiling is coming down. But this would at least have been intact till 30 years ago. Little command post building, kitchen, what have you. One solid structure. And it looked like it had some fire damage at one point. But I'm wondering, there's the bathroom I was looking for. And shit here. Talking about the floor that was breaking, right? Remember I said that. I just want to see. Totally broken. But this was a shower, I think, as well. Alright, see if I can make my way out of this before I'm swallowed up by ground. The insulation, though, is interesting. This insulation, we see that in a lot of wartime German construction. I wonder if this was a house that existed before the war. Let's take a look at the bricks for a minute. See this red brick? I mean, it's not the traditional brick the Russians would use, but it is really poorly put together. There's another entrance exit. That's not, however, what caught my eye. What caught my eye was this. This caught my eye because that is a steel door entrance to a bunker under this house. That's pretty damn brilliant. Alright. With a collapsing roof over my head here, inundated by a million mosquitoes that we all know I love. I swear I'm taking the emergency exit out of here. Alright, I'm going to turn this off for a minute. Go through the swamp. Alright. See. Just lose the mosquitoes. Don't need them. See, here's this interesting. There's actually a little cutout in this door. So this was in the basement of the house. Ain't that special? guess this is the large dining hall I was looking for. Briefing room. Ah, look at this. Here's the ventilation. Oh, there are more pieces. Let's see what does it say there. And Lilia translate. Yeah, that'll be sitting there. This little place here. Okay. Ventilation, low pressure, cabling. Yeah, let's see what's in here then. There's some sort of wood or paper on the floor. I thought it'd get a little less echo, but I was wrong. That's interesting. And here's another one. Almost connected still. Almost connected. Filter. So this just continues into another. I almost assume. This is pretty damn big. Had a wooden frame on it. Before we go in there, this is flooded. We'll go in here. Magic ventilation. See, the more we find, the closer to being connected they are. But you get the idea. There'll be another piece of equipment in here. I will show you that from somewhere else. Oh, and here you have plastic on the inside of the door, just like we actually saw in the Russian buildings in Sussen. See what that says? This was a surprise. It really was. So was the fun part. Less pleasant, but all right. Well, whatever. We're here. Oh, so that's another exit. I see stairs in there. Don't know why that's closed. Another room. That looks like a staircase too. Let's take that last. Take this one. This was a pretty damn big complex. I really would like to know more about ventilation there. More about how many people would be stationed here if this was permanently manned. There are people who are experts in Russian bases, Kasana's equipment. I'm not one of them. All right, that is just an exit. That is closed. Yeah. There's an exit there. It's underwater. But that's not where I wanted to go anyway. So. This is less good shape. All right. What was I looking for? Where did I want it? This is also crooked. And look at this. Look at this doorway. It's crooked. This was really built. What's the word I'm looking for? Shitey? Yeah, let's go with that. All right. So that was closed. And it looks like a staircase. We will do a beautifully bouncing act up to the staircase. Thank God there's a big door. Oh. And the sink. I'm just impressed. This is the first sink I've seen. I say, well, every time we go through something, we find more bits and pieces. That might just be the ventilation room. It may have been a paranoid delusion that I saw a staircase, and it was. It was just a dream. It was all in my head. And there we go. And there we go with that. I think we have all the text. Good thing I'm on the way to Ukraine. There'll be people who can translate all this Russian writing. And I know they don't speak Russian in Ukraine, they speak Ukrainian, but some of the Ukrainians speak Russian, and it gets very complicated, and it's a long conversation, and we're not going to have it right here. Okay. No comment necessary. At this point in time, I don't think anybody doesn't know that they are two separate countries and languages. We're very upset with each other right now, which is why I'm dumb enough to go. All right. That was very neat. That was very, very neat. Oh. And Lily, I'll translate. I'll put a picture up of her because she's really pretty. All right. We will now dilly-dally out through the swarms and swarms of mosquitoes here. Turn the light off, because that makes all the difference right here. And that's the crap that I'll crawl under now. Y'all know I do this for you, right? Backpack getting caught now. Get out of me, I'm not hungry. Ugh. All right, well that was cool. That was very cool. All right, why don't we go out the back door here? Because the back door is also swarming with mosquitoes. How is that even possible? Oh. Oh. So, in there, bunker number 2. See if we get to number 3. Ah, it's getting fun in it. So, the other side of that is another vehicle shelter, and then protective mound, a walkway through to the next. Again, very rudimentary, very crudely built. No offense, but this is by another vehicle shelter. So I thought this would initially been foundation for a house, but and then there's they actually built a staircase up on this mound here. So go through this here. Where are we going in? Then what do we get? We get through to another vehicle shelter. Unless we can get into the walls laterally. Oh, son of a bitch, what the hell was that? Some strange animals out here. I'm sure I'm one of them, according to them. Oh, okay. Inside a vehicle shelter. So they'd park the vehicles, and then they would go through to the house there. Packed rubber between the wood. See some canvas type something. Asphalt, waterproofing. Alright. Wonder what vehicles would have been parked here. Okay. Well, that was wicked fun. Why would there be? So, some of them shored up the walls crappily, and some of them they didn't. Alright. Get that. Little path. Next one should be to my left. And then, I thought I was looking for another bunker, but now I see a very large house. Okay. So, well, and I use the term house loosely because I don't think some of it has a roof. However, maybe it has a basement. I'm supposing that if I'd come in from the other side, I would have seen the infrastructure that I am now seeing, which is what I was initially looking for. But look at how shabby this was built. So I had 2 layers of bricks, and that's almost, that tile usually does those with the round holes, those cement bricks have slabs. They usually don't go up in a roof height. But let's go in. It's a beautiful day for this. I wish you were all here. I can't stream for you. So if I did, you wouldn't be able to see it, because half of it's on the ground where I would lose reception. So, Lilia, don't translate that sign. London look. Well, there's a lot of stuff in there. Well, the floor's in decent shape. That floor, not so much. What I really would like is some writing on some of the walls. And that place where the wallpaper isn't doing this thing. Like in here, for instance, where the wallpaper is very nice. Because it's not wallpaper, it's painted. But nothing anywhere. Okay, this is also not wallpaper. It's paint peeling, I know. Here where it's all cooler, the walls are in better shape, and you see the ceiling were cement slabs out there. So as long as their walls are intact, the ceiling probably will be. Like here. I wonder if somebody removed the flooring while it was still in good shape. They probably did. What I want to know is if there's a tunnel entrance. Not what I was looking for there. No. Sewer type thing, or that they filled this up well. This is full of rubble and apparently there was a basement they didn't want anybody to go into. Interesting. I always ask myself why some places are sealed off more serious than others. So now see under here, there's actually a plate underneath. There's a space there. Bathroom. So there's a hole, so I'm gonna walk counting this will hold, and it did. So I could just walk up here to the nice staircase. Things I did not expect to see was a staircase. Ooh, that didn't sound good. All right. Oh, very carefully. Okay, it's just down to it. So just this floor down here. This should look in good shape. Don't know what the hell this door thing's doing here. But somebody put it here for a reason. Steel plates. Alright. Getting interesting. So that's from the main building. And I'm having flashbacks of Maybach and Sussen. And if you look to my side, cable hangers. The things on the walls are for bats. You know that by now. Not important. This particular context. I feel air coming towards me, so. Okay. Another staircase. Now things got bigger. Well. That is a much bigger door. Lots of cabling. One of the building above was some sort of transformer point where support building. Of course, it's a support building for this. Yeesh. Here we have the decontamination. Yeah, decon shower here. Heavy door, rubber, electronics, cabling going through, lots of cables going through, and a valve that's upside down for some strange reason. Never mind. Ventilation pipes. Now we're cooking. So all the other stuff we just saw, that was just, what, foreplay? Jeez. Here's a serious ventilation. And how far underground are we? Well, a bit more than one regular floor. But of course I don't know what's above me of dirt, sand, rebar. And artifacts. Dials, looks like. Okay. Did not expect to see this much space. Yes, it's a pretty damn big space too. So didn't I say I was looking for a big room that would be like a command center, big map room with a big desk, control panel. No, I didn't say I was looking for a control panel, but you knew what I meant all that. So, and this looks like it folds out. Very interesting. Don't know what that says. All right. So I think we found remnants of the place that could certainly be comm center. Look at how big this thing is. Oh, so there's an out down there. Okay. So you don't have to go through the building. But this is big. This is absolutely enormous. Showers. Decon showers, maybe? It's not like I can see people living and showering down here. I haven't seen a bathroom yet, I said, and then graffiti. So there would have been desks here, possibly. Ah, wait a minute. Well, we all know that hole is where the commander would sit, in here or in there, and pass orders through to higher command, close defense, to the different units around. Well, I think I was just complaining there was no toilets, weren't I? Well, I'm still complaining about that because they're not in here either. But there's something there. There's another room, so in there, beyond that hole is probably one hole, or one room, where some sort of command and control would take place and could pass messages through to at least two other rooms. That's interesting. Like I said, I don't know enough about Cold War Russian or GDR, DDR, bunker infrastructure to start guessing, so I'm just going to show you this. I'm going to talk to somebody and see if I can actually come up with some answers for you before throwing it out there to you. Otherwise, you just get to figure it out along with me. But even since Franco-Prussian Wars, you would have the same general need for command and control. You would have rooms where command would consolidate information and hand out orders in different directions from there's one more of these where looks like there would be, imagine commuter stations where information stations would come down, people sitting at desks is sort of what I'm seeing here at the end of each wire. Well, this is the year of the big bunker, isn't it? Oh, I said, I don't know. I expected this to be bigger. And this is where the ventilation ends. So this is the deepest room of the facility. I wonder if this would be temporary sleeping quarters. No, more of these. And we got more of these. There are some throwbacks to what I would see from World War II, from some of the big German bunkers and smaller, but okay, well, the diagram is still on the wall, on the panel there. Kind of hard to see for the rest. I preferred when we leave the artifacts intact for the next guy. I'm just saying that to people who also explore these. Leave the bits and pieces. It's hard enough to figure out what these are now. Look at the hard time we have trying to piece together World War I bunkers. All right, so World War II is sometimes hard too, and it won't be that long before no one really knew what the hell took place in these. So leave stuff in place. All right, so yes. All right, so this is where command and control could be exercised from. This is one room, separated by a wall. There's another room in there. So there'd be somebody come. This would probably be. I have a hard time seeing the commander sitting in here, but certainly this is where a command and control function. And you have all these bright colors in some of these Russian facilities. I think it's actually a good thing. They learned something from the French that realized that for guys to be sitting in forts and bunkers for weeks and months on end, if they didn't paint something bright and cheerful on the walls, these guys would really start falling into depression and slowly begin to disintegrate by seeing the gray walls. And I don't know if that is why the Russians, there's the toilet up there, fine. I don't know why that's the Russians picked all these colors. They're not all exactly bright and cheerful. The blue one is, but, oh, hello. This mustard yellow is kind of tragedy, isn't it? This is very cool. Truly. This is truly very cool. I'm glad that thing's there. All right, so what does that say? Lilia, translate. Oh, more stuff. All right, well, I think we are coming close to what you would call technical electrical generator. There must have been a backup power somewhere, possibly where I'm standing. Look at all this. There's an enormous amount of cabling coming through this area. And there's a technical tunnel running throughout that then will go into the different buildings. I don't see a platform. See a lot of fuses. That actually looks almost modern. I remember in my mom's old place, Chechen fuses that looked almost like this. Actually, it looks exactly like this. You'd blow a fuse, you'd see the little paint at the end. It'll change color, and then you know the fuse had been blown, and you replace the fuse. That's not even that long ago. Oh, firefighting equipment. That'll be a hose in here. And a pipe running throughout. With water. What's that? Number 6 something. At least the letters are the same. There's the generator room. And here's some bathrooms. Ooh. I see tile, I keep thinking bathroom, but also remember from the Mansion Online wall, look at this green tile. I mean, this is just, again, this is crooked. It is so built so shabby, completely crooked, and they have long, just mismatched tiles, which is fine. I get the little green thing here just for get a little bit of less dreary. But they didn't have enough to do it all the way through, so they kind of mismatched their way when they built this thing. And there it looks like there's a ladder up there. So I don't smell gas or diesel or fuel at all, which is actually surprising. There must be an engine room, to some degree. This could also be a boiler, I suppose. Very cool. Oh, all right. So we can't open it. So we'll just swing you over there. I see. I'm not crawling through the hole. I'm just not. Now this was a serious door and another serious door. And he would have been the engine room with a couple of power plants. I smell a little bit of diesel. All right, Lilia, go crazy. What's all this stuff say? Ventilation? Maybe exhaust? This was the cable duct that ran from the technical room in here through where the generators would have been. And that's flooded. And what's I got there? Tank in there. That would be there would be fuel in here somewhere. And I'm guessing that says 200 liters of something. You'll read that below right now as we speak. Just like what this says. And there's two of these. Oh, skull, that means welcome friend safe. And they still have the hoists for the tanks. I'm sensing something might have been, no, they go to the ground. They go to the ground and go to the next room into the generators. So I see 3 different tanks going to this. At this moment for me, I'm thinking cooling water, gasoline or diesel. Although, again, it doesn't smell of diesel in here. It really doesn't. Which is actually quite strange because I've never been in one of these old bunker engine rooms that doesn't smell of oils and diesel and things. That happens all the time though. All right. So there are toilets, makes me very happy. This is the out, to the right is the in. Now we're going through ventilation room. Yep, ventilation room. Huge ventilators here. Quite a few of these. Of course, that would generate ventilation for the whole structure. I wonder if at least the electrical part would be connected to the small shelters. Yeah, there you go. See the connection. Probably asbestos. Oh well. Well, I don't know why it would be. This could also be heating. Could be. I would imagine if there is a proper, there they are, filters. That's what I was looking for, filters. Interesting. Heavy door, airtight. Probably just a room that will continue funnel into here. And here would be equipment that will facilitate the air. Yeah. So how does that work? Okay, so the air would come in. All right. Go through these machines, through there, up to there, and into there, into that room, into the internal filtration system. Of course, because this is the external filters, the gas and poisonous chemical filters are sitting here. And whatever the hell this is. All right, so air would come in through these. There will probably have been filters in there. Probably these filters because they look exactly like they fit in there, and then they're probably not asbestos. All right, so we figured that out. So air would come in from the outside and be filtered through these, obviously, and then up, I would come in and then up through these, up to that. You can follow the arrows, and then they come in through there, and then they'll come out. It'll come in there, the air, come down there, be filtered through something here, go up there, go back, and then around there, and then into the internal. Okay. You know, if you do a complex like this and you actually put arrows on things, it's just brilliant. And you'd see that on the Maginot Line, you see it on the Belgian forts, German forts as well. See the arrows and descriptions, so everybody could sort of figure out which way things are moving. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. It is rubber. It's a little hard now, but these were all sealed, all airtight. Of course, what's the point in filtrating the air if the doors to the ventilation rooms and equipment are not sealed as well? Well, that was fun. That was absolutely awesome. So, if I go this way, control desk of some sort, and there's a blue spot on this wall, and I don't know, there could have been lighting here, and then there could have been a map that was backlit. It could have been, although we are, well, it's actually quite possible. I'm still expecting the map room somewhere. The situation room. Either this was the Russian or GDR Air Force. They would have to have some sort of situational awareness. More of these cables coming down to, again, I'm imagining a lot of busy people looking at computer screens, readouts, communication relays. There must almost have been a radar feed down here from somewhere. I don't exactly know where. I don't know, actually. I don't know if this would have been big enough to have its own radar relay or radar observation, but there must have been a feed from the overall situation. Maybe a local radar station somewhere for scrambling close defense. Possibility. I certainly would imagine as much. There's not, I don't know, 20, 30 clicks from here. There's a Fliegerhorst, was an air base today, and a Caserne. Plus, we're not that far from Sussen, and we're not that far from the Maybach complex. Then was a large intelligence facility that they used. This is the nice blue wall. All right. Alright, so is this the way out then? I'm not sure that'll do the way out. I'd rather go back and take this second staircase up because I don't know what that led to. There certainly is a way out. See? And steel doors are laying right here. Alright. So I'm going to go back to that second staircase because that seemed like an interesting place to go up. It's probably just another exit, you know. Wonder if I have any reception down here. None whatsoever. Well, I certainly would have expected it. Haven't seen a single bat on the big front doors here. Did I miss it? Nope, here it is. So that's where I came down, and this was the other staircase. Now I'm on the outside of the secure area, so I'm just curious to see where this leads. Leads up to dirt. I expected a fancy foyer. Really, I had. Oh, somebody with a valet in my car and all. Well, that was. So, that's how far underground we went. Huh. Imagine that. You would never think in a million years you crawl through this little thing and you get into this huge complex. That's in there. You seriously, would you think there's a huge underground complex in there when you stand here and look at this unassuming forest? Never underestimate what's hiding beneath your feet.
A lot of you especially wrote me and asked for more Cold War bunkers and shelters. So this past couple of months I spent quite a bit of time looking at them and talking to some of the people who operated these. And it was very interesting and quite an interesting learning experience. And for some reason, the mosquitoes here seems larger and more, shall we say, enthusiastic than at the World War II locations. There's got to be some comparison between war battle locations and mosquitoes, but we'll dive into that later. Next, I'll take you back to Poland.
Behind me is Vanna von Braun's first test stand. Down the road is Deepness nuclear reactor. Over there is the Maginot Line and all its amazing forts. I'm visiting them all and I'm bringing them to you. So I really appreciate you like, follow, and share what I'm doing, trying to document all these important historical locations. And if you feel like you want to watch more pictures or documents that I use for these, go to lostbattlefields.com. And if you feel like helping me out with my travels, because gasoline and travel and airfare is expensive, my PayPal is there, protectionserviceinc.com. You are more than welcome, but you don't have to. I appreciate all your support and all your help, and I love seeing these locations, and I love bringing them to you.